my dad was like, you're going to have to start putting up more social media stuff. And I was like, no, this year I'm going to let the results speak for themselves, and hopefully that's what happens. I get good enough results and that'll do. And it worked out.
And 2023 was like another big year of change for YT. Like the mob started to upscale into the format that we're more familiar with now. They brought Sean in on the downhill side, and then Jack, Casper and Texie on the enduro side. It must have felt good to see the investment and the team growing.
Yeah, good to definitely have a few more people around, and kind of the setup getting bigger and bigger, and especially obviously people see it now this year and there's more stuff coming. But last year was good. It was definitely a good starting point coming into the year. I was feeling good in the bike. Having George as my new mechanic last year, everything was getting set up, dialed. I remember thinking, yeah, this is pairing up to be a pretty good one.
Yeah, and how's it been having Jack on the team? I mean, he's a fast downhill rider for sure, and you've spent quite a lot of time with him in the last year or two.
Yeah, me and Jack are getting on from the minute. It only took like a day or two and we were getting on super good. So yeah, I was over at his house this off season for 2 weeks in Oz. Yeah, we spend lots of time with each other in between races, try and get him to a few downhills, even though he doesn't race, but hopefully I can bring him back onto the downhill side and get him racing.
I think I speak for the fans that we'd all like to see that.
I've been telling him everyone wants Jack back on the downhill, but I'm trying to convince him so hard.
Hopefully. Keep working on it, mate. Keep working on it.
Yeah, I want him to join me on the downhill side.
That would be cool. Do you think spending time with Jack has helped like elevate your profile in the sport as well? I mean, Moi Moi TV is so popular and you've been on that quite a bit. Are you feeling that like growth in your, or like people's awareness of you?
Definitely. With him, he has such a big following on Instagram, especially the YouTube. So many people are watching vlogs now.
Yeah.
And they all love his vlogs, especially when you go to the likes of New Zealand or Australia, with it being kind of down on that side of the world.
Yeah.
Especially Australia. They go, he's like a celebrity. It's ridiculous.
And so they recognise you, right? I guess as well, off the back of it.
Yeah, straight away. Because obviously I've been in the vlogs quite a bit nowadays whenever we're at double headers and training together. It's just me and Jack are getting up to fun stuff every day. So
it's cool.
It's kind of vlog gold, really.
Yeah. Do you think about that like non-racing side of things? Like obviously you have a value to a brand, and a big part of that is your race results. That's your number one thing. But like, are you aware of trying to build your own kind of, I guess, persona within the sport alongside it? Yeah,
I remember 2022, I was like, oh, should I focus on results or more social media? Obviously, I was still racing, but to try and get out more content while in between races. And then 2022 off season going into 23, my dad was like, you're going to have to start putting up more social media stuff. And I was like, no, this year I'm going to let the results speak for themselves, and hopefully that's what happens. I get good enough results and that'll do. And it worked out.
It did work out. Do you have a manager that looks after like that stuff as well, like dealing with partners and deals? And...
I do know, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Paul from Net Performance.
Okay. Yeah. What is their role? Because I don't think many people are super familiar with like how that works in mountain biking.
Yeah, so especially with how it's going nowadays with trying to get out the industry kind of more known, you could say, and get some outside industry sponsors. Yeah. It's definitely, for a racer, it's hard with us focusing on race and training and everything. We don't have time to be dealing with the brands directly all the time in the off season, and to have someone reach out and look for brands like Paul does for me, and he works with some of the other riders like Reese and Ronan as well. Yeah. Is a massive help. It kind of takes the stress off us. We just let Paul deal with it.
Yeah. Well, it's worked out for Reese, right?
Yeah. Big time.
When's the fast car arriving, Oisin?
A fast car would be nice. Even a van would be nice.
Yeah, I know that feeling. Well, let's talk about the 2023 season. I think it's fair to say up until Snowshoe, like on the timesheets, like if you just look at placings, it was a bit up and down. Like what was going on from your perspective? How are you looking at it?
Yeah, it was a bit inconsistent when you look back, but when I was on, I was pretty on. I remember the first race was I lost my shoe in qualifying.
Oh, yeah, I'd forgotten about that.
That was wild. I don't know how that happened.
And you rode down just on the pedal, right?
Rode down the rest of the way, hit all the jumps, and Lenzerheide, which has some big drops and jumps in the finish. Rode down, actually, the bottom of my foot was so bruised.
I bet.
For a few days, or 2 weeks really.
Yeah.
And cut from the pins and the pedals. Like, I tried to ride, if you try it now, it's so sore to ride around the car park. I don't know how I done it at the time.
Adrenaline, eh?
I just decided, I'm going to go for it still. Remember, I was like less than a second off qualifying with no shoe.
Insane.
I remember people, when I came into the finish line, were all just looking at me like, where is your shoe?